15 lies Biden told during his big boy press conference. And of course, the mainstream media never checks him on these lies, never call him out on these lies. They quick to call Trump a liar, but then when you ask them the lies that Trump tell, they can never tell you none of the lies that he tell. These are 15 lies that we're gonna break down. When I was watching his big boy press conference, I was just shaking my head the entire time because of course his mumbling and fumbling. We all saw him call Trump his vice president and all of that, but it was irking me because all the lies that he was saying and during it, like I should have did a live thing. I could have fact checked them there, but that's okay. We're gonna do that now. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. There's a link to my Instagram, and there's a link to my Patreon where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. All right, so let's talk about this news. Now, this comes from the Federalist, from Sean Fleetwood. And he reports that seeking to assuage concerns among Democrats that he's mentally incapable of taking on Donald Trump this November, Joe Biden held a big boy press conference during Thursday NATO summit and did it not disappoint. Not content to just step on his own tongue more than once, the president spewed some of the most outrageous mistruths of his presidency so far. From claiming Trump is his vice president to rewriting history on Afghanistan, the lies were almost non-stop. So here we go. Number one here, rising prices. Biden claimed that overall prices fell last month. When? The grocery stores that I shop at didn't get the memo because nothing changed. It's still increasing, but he said it's down. It fell. Just lies on top of lies. I mean, the statement is false according to PBS News. Now, this is not my opinion. This is PBS. Quote, wholesale prices in the United States rose by a larger than expected 2.6% last month from a year earlier. So when in fact he said it was lower, it in fact raised. It's even higher than it was. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, man. And he just says whatever comes to his mind, no matter if it's truth or not. Number two, Vice President Trump. Again, we all saw that. Biden falsely claimed that he picked Donald Trump as his vice president. Quote, I would have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president if I didn't think she was not qualified to be president, the Delaware Democrat said. Biden picked Kamala Harris, not Trump, to be his vice president. Of course, he misspoke there. But number three, Zelensky or Putin. When confronted by a reporter on a moment from earlier in the day when he mistakenly referred to Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky as Russia's Vladimir Putin, Biden claimed, quote, I said, no, I'm not sorry, Zelensky, and then I added 5 other names. Even anti-truth CNN admitted this did not occur. Number 4, debate performance. Biden blamed his travel schedule as the cause for his poor debate performance against Trump. Quote, the next debate, I'm not going to be traveling 15 time zones a week before. Anyway, that's what it was about, the president said. Contrary to his claim, Biden did not travel through 15 time zones a week before the debate. The president returned from his overseas Europe trip on June 15th and spent the week before the debate prepping at Camp David. And everyone knows he was at Camp David. So what is he talking about? The entire week he was relaxing at Camp David prepping. Number 5, Trump's NATO comments. Biden distorted comments about NATO Trump issued at a recent rally in Florida. Quote, I think he said at one of his rallies, don't hold me to this, recently where NATO, I recently learned about NATO or something to that effect. Foreign policy never has been his strong point, the president claimed. The characterization is false. When describing his mindset prior to his first NATO summit in 2017, Trump said, quote, I didn't want to be obnoxious because I felt, it was the first time I'd ever done this. I didn't even know what the hell NATO was too much. I'm sorry. I didn't even know what the hell NATO was too much before. But it didn't take me long to figure it out, like about 2 minutes. And the first thing I figured out was they weren't paying. Number 6, Hamas. Popularity. While discussing the ongoing, and the problem with Biden is he's trying to toe the line with Israel and Hamas because he know his base are pro Palestine. So and then you got most of his cabinet members are Jewish people, and so he has to toe the line with his Hamas, Israel, Palestine stuff. But number 6, while discussing the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict, Biden contended, quote, there is a growing dissatisfaction on the West Bank from Palestinians about Hamas, and that the terrorist group is not popular now. Poland has shown that the majority of Palestinians support Hamas and approve of its October 7th attack on Israel. I'm not really too sure about that one. I haven't seen the polling. They got a link here for it. Number 7, endorsements. Biden claimed that the United Auto Worker Union just endorsed me. The statements is misleading. The group endorsed Biden for president nearly 6 months ago on January 24th. 8, U.S. presence in Afghanistan. Biden whitewashed his prior support for the United States having a military presence in Afghanistan. Quote, you may recall, I still get criticized for it, but I was totally opposed to the occupation and trying to unite Afghanistan, the president asserted. Once we got bin Laden, we should have moved on because it was not in no one's ever going to unite that country. He's lying. I mean, we all know he was for going into Afghanistan from the beginning. Biden has always been a warmonger, but as noted by the left-wing CNN, quote, in the early years of the war, Biden, then a U.S. Senator for Delaware, was a vocal public supporter of the U.S. having a sustained military presence in Afghanistan and engaging in extensive nation building there, and he explicitly rejected the idea of a narrow military mission targeting terrorists. I mean, we all remember, well, I should say we all, I remember Biden when it was all gung-ho for going into Afghanistan. He just making stuff up and just lying in the Americans' faces. Number 9, bad poll numbers. Biden claimed that there are at least 5 presidents running or incumbent presidents who had lower numbers than I have now in the campaign, he said. Even the Washington Post fact checkers admitted this isn't true. The leftist Washington Post. Quote, according to the presidential rating tracked by 538, Biden approval rating 36.8% at this point in his presidency is lower than any other president besides George H.W. Bush, who was 36.7%, and Jimmy Carter, 33.9%, the Post reported. I remember that report. Gerald Ford had an approval rating slightly higher. All 3 lost. So it's not looking good for Biden. But he's continuing to lie about it. Number 10, growing economic pains. Biden downplayed the notion that his policies are responsible for America's ongoing economic pains. He would refuse to take responsibility. We have previous presidents that used to say the buck stops here at their desk. The economy is on them. He refuses to take responsibility for it. He said, quote, as you recall, understandably, many of you and many economists that my initial initiatives that I put forward can't do that. It's going to cause inflation. Things are going to skyrocket. Debt is going to go up, the president said. It's hard reading what he says. Contrary to his insinuation, inflation skyrocketed after Biden took office and implemented far-left economic policies. We all know this. Number 11, illegal border crossings. And I don't know how he could even come up out his mouth and lie about this. But Biden regurgitated the lie that, quote, border encounters have gone down over 50% and the, quote, current level is lower today than when Trump left office. I mean, nobody believes that. This isn't true, as illegal border crossings have exponentially risen to record highs under Biden presidency. We all know that. Even the leftist media admit that. Number 12, Trump's foreign policy. Remember, Trump had peace in the Middle East. He totally forget about that. But the Democrat president contended that foreign policy has never been Trump's strong point. The statement is inaccurate. During his presidency, Trump secured peace agreements between Israel and several of his Arab neighbors, reestablishing a working coalition among like-minded nations in the Indo-Pacific region to counter Chinese aggression and decimated ISIS, among other achievements. And again, he didn't start any new wars either. Number 13, classified documents. While speaking about his prior interactions with Chinese dictator Xi Jinping, Biden suggested he turned over all of his notes to federal officials upon leaving office. Quote, "I've spent more time with Xi Jinping than any other world leader." Well, I'm going to interject here. That's because Xi Jinping is your puppet master. He is the one that's really running Biden. But and by the way, I handed in all my notes, the president claimed. Biden did not. Remember, we know he had classified information, and then they ended up not persecuting him for it because the Hurd document said he wouldn't remember any of that stuff. Remember, he can't. Oh my gosh! But Biden did not, in fact, turn over all classified materials in his possession upon leaving office. Federal officials discovered boxes of classified documents at Biden's Delaware Beach home, including records that dated back to his time in the U.S. Senate. I mean, it's easily verifiable. Number 14, child gun deaths. Biden claimed, quote, "more children are killed by the bullet than any other cause of death." I mean, we know that's untrue as well. That assertion is misleading. Data published by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention contends the leading cause of death among minors is firearm-related incidents, but considers 18 and 19-year-olds as children in its analysis. When using actual classification of minors, individuals the age of 17, the leading cause of death among children is motor vehicle-related incidents. You see how they play these number games? They're so slick. They are so slick. Wow, what's going on with my camera here? I see a little glow. Sorry about that, y'all. I don't know what's going on with my camera. Lastly, number 15, Trump's Russia comments. Biden claimed Trump told Vladimir Putin, quote, "do whatever the hell you want." What? You think that would have been headlines all over the country from leftist media pundits if Trump actually said something like that? Regarding invasion of Eastern Europe, but that's not accurate. And if that's the case, how come he didn't invade under Trump? If Trump said that, he would have invaded under Trump, not under Biden, right? But Trump remarks came during a South Carolina rally, during which he recounted a story from when he was president and speaking with a NATO member. Trump purportedly told this state that he would withhold U.S. support if they didn't pay their minimum defense spending obligations. Nothing about Russia there. I mean, just lies on top of lies on top of lies. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.